Chair Kate Darby joining us now. First of all, congratulations on being re-elected as chair. You mentioned kind of a Thanksgiving message about an opportunity to serve for your role going forward for these next 12 months as chair, your decision to want to have that position again, and what you hope, again, these next 12 months you guys will be able to accomplish together as a board and with the district.
Well, thank you very much. It's been a great year, and I've enjoyed my service to the community, and I look forward to another year. I think I really want to see us as a board work together as much as we can to have a laser-like focus on student achievement and doing everything we can to make sure we have equity across the district and can really focus on that piece. And you see us, I mean, there are times we're going to have to agree to disagree, but we need to all of us be on the same page that, you know, student achievement is our number one focus. So that's really what I hope to do as a school board chair this year, along with just supporting our teachers. They are really the foundation of the school district, and they work really hard, and I know they don't get enough positive feedback and thanks, and I just, you know, as I was thinking about this Thanksgiving, what I'm thankful for, I mean, it's the work they do is amazing. When I watch teachers in the classroom, I just think, gosh, I don't know how they do that. So I want to make sure that this year I really want to focus on making sure every teacher knows that they're appreciated in the work they do.
One of the ways to boost the schools, you guys took a step tonight in raising substitute teacher pay, both for uncertified and certified. If you can, break down a few of the details, but also the need to raise substitute pay.
So we talked about, you know, the economy right now is very tight in employment. It's hard to find workers. I know how that is in our own company. And we found that our substitutes could go to neighboring districts and make the same amount of money they were making with us or make more. And so we needed to be more competitive with that. So we've increased, I think it's the base rate had been $8 an hour. We're moving that to $12.50 an hour. So I think that our subs will recognize that we recognize the hard work that they're doing and motivate them to want to come and work and fill, you know, CCSD sub position. So I think we're really excited about that. There was full support from the board to make that change, and so I think the subs will be excited about it.
Coming back to the working together theme, that was something that Superintendent Postlewaite mentioned in her report. Being thankful for the opportunity to serve children and serve the community, but that there is that need to work together. What was your takeaway from the Superintendent's report, her message to not just the board members, but obviously everybody else here tonight?
So I think she was spot on. I think her message to all of us sitting here today was that we have too many children, probably 50% of our kids in the district, so 25,000 kids, who are not growing like they should be. They're not gaining the over the course of the year as much as they should. And I think research has shown that many of those kids come from houses of or families that have, you know, had low socioeconomic level, mom or dad's in multiple jobs, and they just our focus has got to be on those kids. I've got to be on the schools that have, you know, our schools that have the biggest challenges should have our best and strongest teachers and our best and strongest leaders. And I think that was the message to us, is let's really focus on our children who need us the most, and make sure that those kids who need us the most, that we're providing the best service that we can with the strongest, most experienced teachers, with the strongest leaders. So I think that is definitely a goal or a message that the board can get behind.
So you also were involved in the evaluation process this month for the superintendent, and the board gave her a MET rating. Go into detail a bit more about that, and also going forward, your evaluation tool. That's something that you guys decided tonight that you're going to work on when it comes to January, when you guys meet then too.
So every year, as in any school district, the superintendent is evaluated just like our teachers, our principals, you guys are evaluated. So we did that as a part of the superintendent's contract, and all 9 board members gave input into that. We gave some feedback to her, and we really discussed what we all can do better. We think she's doing a great job. We did talk about the one area that we think we can improve is working together on communication, and so I think that's a focus area that we'll work on. She has now been with the district for 2 years, and last year we decided that we wanted to really look at outcomes and student achievement as we were evaluating the superintendent, and we decided that our 2016-17 data, so our achievement on ACT and PASS and all of those kinds of things, would be the baseline. So this year we didn't evaluate her based on any student achievement data, but in January when we meet, we talked about this tonight, we're going to look at what do we really want our superintendent evaluation to look like, and how can we have outcomes as we hold teachers accountable and principals accountable for student achievement. Obviously, the superintendent position is as well. So I think when we meet in January, we want to, instead of every year going, well, what is the tool going to be, we want to come up with a tool that we can use every year that addresses things like, working with employees in the community, but also addresses student achievement and outcomes. So I think that'll be something we'll work on in January.
Final question for you. The decision tonight, when it came to the District 3 bus lot on James Island, the recommendation was to place it on land next to James Island Elementary School to have a centralized bus lot for District 3 because of the facility having to go major renovation, deconstruction at Old Fort Johnson Middle School so that the new facility for Camp Road Middle School can be built. It failed in a 4-4 vote. From your eyes, the decision the board made and also what you anticipate to be next for this transportation issue on James Island.
So, okay, on the one hand, as Ms. Coates pointed out to us, the decision to put it at James Island has been made and voted on, at James Island Elementary, has been made and voted on by previous boards and this board numerous times. And when when the staff came to us last spring and we agreed we were going to do that, there was a lot of pushback from the community. So we said, okay, staff, go and look at what the options are. And I think they looked at like 35 different pieces of property. And people in the neighborhood said, put it in someplace that's zoned industrial. Well, it's James Island, and it's a neighborhood community. So on the one hand, it was a decision really that had already been made. And then, the community came out, they were super organized, and they let us know they didn't want it in their backyard. The challenge is that we have bus lots in neighborhoods all throughout the district. I mean, I can't tell you how many years ago, but this tells my age, when the district put the bus lot in Mount Pleasant in Park West at Cario, there was huge backlash from that community. People didn't want it, but it's there. It's camouflaged. Unless you know it's there, you wouldn't even see it. So I don't know. It's a tough one because you don't want to make people unhappy. You don't want somebody to feel like, we aren't listening to them. We are definitely listening to them. But the state requires us to put the buses together, and they do that for a couple of reasons. One, if a bus is broken, the replacement bus is right there. Two, if a driver doesn't come in for whatever reason, the replacement drivers are right there. An option that some folks have suggested from James Island would be, we'll put those buses at the Azalea lot in North Charleston. Well, there's neighborhoods right there too. That community doesn't want those bus lots any bigger, and most of our drivers for James Island schools live on James Island. So they would have to drive to North Charleston, get their bus, go back to James Island, pick up their kids, get them to school, and do the reverse at the end of the day. And that doesn't make sense, number one. And number two, the state tells us we can't do that. So next steps, I'm not sure. Right now the buses are at the Camp Road location, and that's where we're building our new, middle school for James Island. I am sure people in the community do not want that delayed, but until that could happen if we don't find another location for the buses. So I think that the staff is fantastic, and they'll go back and look at what options are, and I think we'll be talking about it again after the first of the year.